What's up, motherfuckers? If you want to beat so easy as I said variation against the Spanish, keep in this video because I'm going to show us a very interesting trick played by Kateryna Lagno in the Women's World Team Championship, but who is not only played by Lagno, he have many victims like, for example, Dean Liren for in this trap, the world champion, Anatoly Karpov for in this trap, Nordibek to Satorov for in this trap. So that's not Umida Monova who the first who fall in this trap. There are many. There's like two former world champions who fall in this opening trap. So keep in this video because if Karpov and Dillian falls, make sure that your opponents are going to fall too. Okay, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, the Spanish open, a6, so e4, knight f6 or castle, bishop b7, rook e1, the normal, this is the main line, b5, bishop b3, d6, c3, so castle, h3, that's the main position of the Spanish. Here black have many options like knight a5, knight d7, knight a5, that's the Chigori. Knight d7 was playable too. Bishop b6 was employed by Erigaisi some days ago. And knight b8 is the breyer. But here Umida Omonova goes for the ZAITSEV. Here d4, that's the main move. Rook 8, knight d2, bishop f8. And here the main theory was a4, but I'm going to recommend us to play a3. Okay, let's stop here a moment. We're playing against a4. Um, Yes, I remember that black main move was take here and knight b4, so I don't know how was that. Yes, or move the knight and later c5, something like that. Yes, I remember that this is even here. I don't know how was the third there. By the way, let's put the focus on e3. Here, um, Umida plays knight b8, which is a huge mistake. Okay, first I'm going to show us a little bit how to play if black plays good. For example, if g6, now we are going to go to bishop a2, followed by b4. That's the white plan. So remember, if g6, bishop a2, and b4. And if h6, now we're going to play bishop c2, because with the pawn e6, we're never going to have ideas of knight g5, so we can just leave this diagonal and play bishop c2, knight b8. And here we have some ways to play, or with b3, or playing before DLB. The machines like b3 a little bit more, but I think before is so interesting. Because knight d7, bishop b2. Now if black play g6, now this is like a start tempo for white because now we can play c4 or play 4. So g6 here is not a good move, was strong to play c6. a4 was another way to play, like there is a game between Sergei Karyakin and Peter Spilder. I really like this game of Karyakin. I'm going to show us more or less fast who is the plan. It's a4, now bishop d3, b3, bishop a3, queen c2, and now white is going to prepare the breakthrough with c4. And he made in a very concrete way, trading everything, and later playing c4, breaking the position, and white is fine here. So great victory of Karyakin in this game against the builder. He played a very good game. And b3 here, that's the other idea. The later we're going to play before, but we're just going to play more quietly. That's a game between Firuza and Alexander Predke 4 years ago. Now bishop b2 just improving a little bit. Bishop d3, queen c2, bishop f1. And finally he take on e5 like Ariaki and he finally plays c4. And later he plays c5, fixing the pawn c6, and now let's see that the bishop on b7 is so bad place. Now after this tactic, white is fine. But okay, now we're going to put the focus on knight b8, who is the natural move in this position. Go with knight b8 followed by knight d7. Looks like the natural way to play by white, by black. Sorry. What happened with knight b8? But here white have this surprise of knight d5. Great move. And the idea who is that after look here, now we came with the other knight on f7, on f3, sorry, and the idea is sacrifice the knight on f7 and came with the other knight on g5. Knight d7, knight f7, rook f7, and now the second knight comes to g5. And here white is winning. In this point, instead of knight g5, white have the extra option of g takes c5. Okay, according to the machine, it's winning too. It's not the most accurate, but it's winning. And I think that maybe this move is easier than who was played in the game. D takes c5. This a game between BCR and Nordibek Abdusatrov in 2018 in a chess.com game, internet, an online game. But I like the takes c5. I think this is so easy. So that's a game of Viciana, the world champion. He takes now knight g5, the same idea. Rook e7. Now take, and coming with the other knight. Black should trade queens. Rook takes c5, and now important move bishop e6, because if not, black is going to trap our bishop with c4. Here, okay, knight c6 was stronger. Knight g5, knight d8. Take. And now after bishop e3, we have an extra pawn. But okay, bishop e4 was played by Abdusatrov, and now the rest is so easy with 95. So now I have two rooks and a pawn for against three pieces. So black is well, white is just winning. That's a easy victory of Viciana. But okay, I'm going to show us the game of Lagno, of course, with 95. Like I told, rook e7, but that's the only defense move, and the rest is more or less easy. That's just knight df3, knight d7, just take, knight d5. Now, of course, black should play d5, breaking the center. And now I have two options. My favorite was it takes d5, of course, that's the best move. Uh, sorry, um, Topalov playing against Karpov, knight takes f7, to show us that all the top players of the history have fallen in this trap. Like this is a game of Anatoly Karpov with black pieces in Spain in 2018. Anatoly Karpov fall in this trap. So everybody can fall if Karpov fall. So here Topalov play knight f7 against Karpov, king takes f4. That's another interesting way to play. But okay, it takes d5, play by Lagno. There are some games with this position. Bishop d6. Everything is more or less for bishop d6. Now we capture here. Knight takes, rook takes, bishop takes, and we open our bishop. That's the most important thing. Queen d6 takes. And now there is another game of another former world champion, Samuel Sankland versus Dean Liren with black, where Dean Liren here take with pawn, knight f7, bishop d5, and okay, they fall in this position, which just is winning for a while, but okay, Sankland doesn't manage to convert into full point. Bishop d6, played by Omonova. And here came the only inaccurate move by Lagno, but is still winning. Lagno take knight takes f7, is winning. It's curious because Lagno play knight f3, knight g5, knight f7 with one knight, and with the other knight he played knight f3, knight g5, knight f7. He made the same route with the two knights. But okay, here this was slightly better. There is a game between two grandmasters in Dresden 2023 and in 23. 2003. Bishop f7 was slightly more accurate. But okay, knight f7 played by Lagno is winning too. Here bishop c5 was the best defensive move, but it's still winning for white. Omonova played bishop d5, just bishop takes, knight takes, and here a4. I think that they reached the same position of Sankland and I'm not completely sure, but oh, no, it's not the same because in Sackland black have the pawn on e5, and here black have the pawn on d6. So okay, a4 play by black, now activating his rook. Now he opened his rook, and now the rest is more or less easy for black now. Yeah, so very good game. I analyzing the women's team World Cup where Russia take the victory. This is a game of the quarterfinals between Russia and Uzbekistan. Now I'm going to analyze more games in the channel of the semifinals against China and the finals against Azerbaijan. So let's see the videos. Okay, now I'm going to show us more or less fast again how this everything was. Yes, with bishop b7, as I said, now d4, knight d2, now h3. That's the key idea. If knight b8 take, sorry, knight g5, came with the other knight and take, and knight g5. And now just everything works in the center. So I hope that you learned this idea and you can employ in your own games. Bye bye, motherfuckers.